Good afternoon, everyone. Just bear with us for a minute. We are still admitting attendants to our webinar and we'll start in next 2 or 3 minutes. Thank you. Okay, I think we can start and people can join us as we go. So welcome everyone. My name is Teresa Buczkowska and I'm a migrant woman. I work as the integration manager at the Immigrant Council of Ireland, and I will be hosting today's information event about our new project, Migrant-Councillor Internship Scheme. So I'm gonna share a couple of slides with you first, and then we will have time for Q&A. We will not be able to accept in-person questions, so please use the Q&A box to type in your question, and I will be attending to them at the end of the session. So please type in the questions as we go, so we can answer as many of those questions as you have, okay? So I'll just find my presentation. Okay. So just to go over a little bit of the agenda, what we're going to do today. So first, I will tell you a little bit about the context. Why are we doing this project and this internship? What are the objectives of this internship? What we're trying to achieve with it? What would be the key principles for everyone attending this program? And terms and conditions. And then I will tell you a little bit more about the application process and the selection process that we're going to apply. And as I said, at the end, I will be answering all your questions that you're gonna type in the Q&A box. So let's start with the context. So why are we doing that? So we believe that migrant political participation is essential for healthy democratic processes. Democracy is about representations and participation. Unfortunately, in Ireland, we don't really have fully representative political leadership, and that's what we're trying to change with our program. Ireland has one of the most inclusive electoral systems in the world, and unfortunately, migrants do not use this system. We don't vote and we don't run as a local for positions to be a local representatives. And again, these are the two reasons why we are doing this project. We also know from our research that when migrants decide to run for local elections, they face additional barriers during their campaigns, barriers that other candidates don't face. And also, for facilitating migrants' political participation is one of the key areas of work of the Immigrant Council of Ireland. This is what we've been doing for a couple of years, and we are pretty good at it, I think. And we've done a pilot project of a similar nature back in 2018. And you can see on your right-hand side a cover of a report that we published at the end of the pilot project. And on the cover, you can see Councillor Uremu Adejimi. She took part in our pilot project in 2018. She ran for local elections in 2019. She went really far. She wasn't elected, but she went really far. She was co-opted to the local council in 2020. And as of perhaps last week, she was elected the first female Black mayor of Irish Town. She's a mayor of Longford. So we really feel that this program has really a huge potential because we've already seen how this program can enable migrants to achieve high level of success in local politics. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about those barriers that migrants experience during local elections, because these are quite important, because these are the particular barriers that we're going to try to tackle with this program. And again, you can see in front of you a cover of another report that we published. After the local elections in 2019, we surveyed migrant candidates. We had 56 candidates in 2019 of a migrant background. And we researched what were the barriers that they were facing during the election campaigns. So the first barrier was lack of knowledge about voting rights within migrant communities. Migrant communities are the base voters for every migrant candidate, but we as a community, we usually don't know about our voting rights. And as such, we don't vote for migrant candidates. There's also candidates were also reporting low level of knowledge about local politics before joining the election campaign. And that also, in their mind, impacted negatively on their experience during the local elections. And another barrier was having small social and political networks in the local area, which was also identified as a key barrier for migrants to have successful campaigns. Both of those reports are available on our website, so I encourage everyone to have a look at our website. You can see, you can read those reports for yourselves. They are not very long and they are quite useful. They are full of knowledge that is quite useful for everyone who is considering engaging in politics. So what are the objectives of this project? So with this project, with this internship, we are intending to provide interns with a practical experience about local politics. So it's about very practical engagement with local politics. We want to make a connection between migrant communities and the local government. So migrant communities get a knowledge how politics on a local level work and what local politics are all about. We want to obviously promote diversity amongst politicians. So we are hoping that people who complete this project, they will get confidence to run in local elections in 2024. And we also want to facilitate a greater political participation of migrants. So we want to encourage older migrants to register as voters. And this will be also one of the objectives of this program. So bearing in mind that we have 4 objectives for this program, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the principles that we're going to implement in this program, because this is a key commitment that we will be requiring of every person who's taking part in this program to commit to, because otherwise it's not going to work. So the first key principle would be active participation. So we are asking you as interns to ensure that you're going to actively participate in all activities that will be made available to you. And that's a key principle that we are expecting a full commitment. And we're also expecting commitment from the hosting councillor to provide you with opportunities for active participation in local politics. And that might be either attending local council meetings, attending community meetings, or perhaps supporting councillors during the advice clinics. All of that will be discussed at a later stage, different types of activities that you might be engaging. So active participation is one of the key principles. Another key principle is confidentiality. So you will be working with the councillor, and the councillors usually deal with a lot of requests from members of the electoral areas. People are coming with personal issues, personal problems, and asking the councillor to provide support. And you might be part of those conversations when you will be shadowing the councillor. So we are expecting full confidentiality about those issues that councillors are dealing with. In addition, you will be dealing with people who are public personas. Councillors are public people. And we also expecting confidentiality around the engagement with councillors, because we don't really want to damage that public persona that they have. And then the last principle is impartiality. So you might be paired with a councillor who might not necessarily share your political views. And this project, this internship isn't about politics. So we are not really expecting anyone to convince another person to their political agenda. This is only about practical experience. So we are asking everyone to park your political views aside for the time being of this internship and really engage with the practicality of being a councillor. So it's about learning what it means to be a councillor rather what the politics of a councillor are. So active participation, confidentiality, and impartiality, these will be the three key principles that are guiding our program. There will be definitely terms of reference that will be, we will be also requiring everyone to commit to. So there will be three parties within this project. So the intern, the councillor, and the Immigrant Council of Ireland. So we set up a list of different terms of references for each of the party, where that terms of reference will be a guiding document that will allow us to make sure that there is a little bit of a structure to that program, and that we know what we're doing, and that we understand each other collectively, and that we are on the same page. So we will be telling you more about those terms and references when we make those placements. So for now, I will not be going further into that because that will take too much time. And it's not really relevant right now to learn what are the exact terms of reference. We will tell you more about that as we do the placements. So what are the terms and conditions on this project, of this internship? So this internship is only for migrants from outside of European Union, and that is quite important. That we need to make this distinction because of the type of funding that we're having. And unfortunately, people who are migrants from European Union countries will not be eligible. And I'm afraid we will not be able to make any exceptions at this moment. And this is purely due to funding, the type of funding that we got. We might be getting different funding at a later stage, and perhaps then we will be able to engage people from European Union. But as of now, this is only for people from outside of European Union. This is both for migrants, asylum seekers, for refugees, anyone from outside of European Union. A level of English is quite important. So you need to have at least a good level of English because you need to be able to understand what's happening and being able to consume information that you are given. Another important part of this internship is that this has to be made in your local area. So placement has to be made with another councillor who lives in your local area, because there is no point if you, let's say, live in Sligo and we don't have a councillor in Sligo willing to take on an intern. There is no point of pairing you with somebody from Dublin or Galway, because it's about learning about those practical elements of being a councillor in your local area. So let's say if you are again living in Sligo and we have no councillors living in Sligo that want to take part in this internship, unfortunately, we might not be able to make the placement for you this time. Or if there is 1, 2, or 3 migrant candidates in Sligo, but we have only 1 councillor in Sligo, again, we will be only able to make placement for 1 person. So there is a limitation when it comes to locality. The placement has to happen in your local area. So we are asking you to commit to 7 hours a week, which you can do either during 1 full day, or you can spread the 7 hours over a couple of days during the week. The internship will be lasting for 12 weeks, and we are expecting that the main part of this internship will run between September and December 2021. Some people might be starting early September and finishing late November. Other people might be starting in October and finishing in December. We are really allowing a little bit of flexibility around that starting and finishing time, because we understand that people might have different duties, different projects to finish. They might be going on holidays and so on. So more or less the starting time will be around September and finishing time in December, and different people, different placements might start at a different time. This internship is unpaid, so you will not be paid for the 7 hours that you're going to work. However, we're going to provide expenses for travel, lunch, and childcare for single parents. And there are terms and conditions to that as well. So if you're going to be offered a placement with a councillor, we will provide you with a detailed information what kind of expenses are eligible, and how to claim your expenses back. So as for now, the important information is that expenses will be paid for travel, lunch, and childcare for single parents. So what will you be doing during the internship? So the internship, we are envisioning it as rather a partnership between the intern and the councillor. So it will be up to you to really decide how you're going to shape this experience for you. However, we are expecting that you will be participating in a couple of obligatory activities that we believe would put a little bit of structure on this internship. So you might do other activities in addition, but here in front of you, you have a list of activities that we require as the minimum activities that you will be required to do. So at the beginning, before we start our placements, in September, we'll have an orientation session for all the interns, where we will explain you exactly the terms and conditions. We will explain you about the expenses. We will explain you about the way of communicating with Immigrant Council of Ireland, and we'll give you all the information that you need to successfully complete your internship. We will provide you with your information pack, where you will be able to find all the information that you need. We also require you to have at least 3 one-to-one meetings with the councillor. And we're saying at least 3 because you might be able to get more time for conversation with your councillor. But you need to also bear in mind that councillors are very busy people, and they sometimes might not be able to really give you very detailed feedback about your work and answer all your questions. So usually you will be communicating with the councillor through text message, emails, phone calls, but we want you to sit down with your councillor at least 3 times for 1 hour each, to be able to discuss this internship, but also to be able to ask them questions about their work, basically. You might be attending a council meeting, and you might have some questions about the way how council meeting works. And the one-to-one meetings with your councillor will be the opportunity to ask those questions and get more understanding of what being a councillor means. We want you to attend at least 1 council meeting. Again, we understand that people might have different work schedule, family duties, college, and so on. And sometimes council meeting might be competing with those other schedules, but we want you to make sure that you will attend at least 1 council meeting. Some councillors, most of the councillors, run advice clinics where they are seeing members of the constituency, and they are providing advice to them. So we want you to attend at least 3 of those meetings with your councillor, so you can observe what it is, what running an advice clinic is all about, and also how local councillors engage with members of the community when they are seeking support from them. Then we would like you to organize an online meeting between councillor and migrant community in your local area. Remember that one of the objectives of this program is to bring connection between migrant communities and local government. So we would like you to organize a meeting where your hosting councillor will address the migrant community, will explain them a little bit about the work of local government, about their own work, their own role, and then to have a little bit of a Q&A session with migrant communities. We will provide you with support and advice how to organize such a session, so don't worry about that. And you will have, 12 weeks to organize this online session, an hour session with your local councillor. And that's why we are also looking for people who have some connections with local migrant communities, so we know that you will be able to do this meeting. Another objective of this internship was to facilitate greater political participation of migrants. So for that reason, we are expecting you to do voters registration. So part of your internship will be to register migrants to vote. And we would like you to register around 60 people, and that is around 5 people every week. And again, we will provide you with information and advice how to do this, with a couple of ideas how you might do it, how to go around it, how to register people to vote. and we will provide you with support about that. We will also provide you with an ongoing support as we go throughout the 12 weeks. And every second week, a member of the staff from the Immigrant Council of Ireland, the project coordinator, will give you a quick phone call, maybe 10-15 minutes, to ask you a couple of questions. How is it going? What experiences did you have? Do you enjoy it? Is there any issues that we need to be aware of? Just to make sure that we are providing with the best support that we can. And if you need any support and help, we will be able to provide you with this support and help. So this will be, as I said, very short, 10, maybe 15-minute phone calls every second week with the project coordinator. We also would like you to run a weekly activities journal, and I will show you in a moment what it looks like. So basically, it's very basic record for yourself and for us of all the activities that you've done and the learnings that you've done every week. So you will be able to track your progress, and also it will give us idea what worked well, what was very successful, and what wasn't really very successful, to make sure that next time when we're running this project, we can make amendments. And at the end of the 12 weeks, we will send you an evaluation survey. So we would also like you to fill in this survey and send it back to us. So these are the activities that will be obligatory to you. So remember, you will have 12 weeks, 7 hours every week to spend to complete all of those activities. And as I said, we will be providing you with an ongoing support and advice how to do it as you go. In addition, as I said, if possible, you might be having additional activities. You might have more meetings with your councillor. You might attend more council meetings. You might attend different committee meetings and local community events. Your councillor might ask you to do a little bit of research. You might be able to do a little bit of canvassing as well. I'm not sure if that's going to happen because this is not an election year, but you never know. There might be some snap elections happening somewhere, and you might be able to knock on people's door and canvass for politicians, and that will be a great experience, but not necessarily it might happen. And there might be any other activities that you might be asked to engage with on the suggestion of your councillor. As I said, the internship is very much a project between you and the councillor. You will have a lot of say how to shape it, how to form it, what do you want to out of it. We're just providing you with a little bit of framework and information and advice, how to make the most of it. And then the rest is up to you, how you're going to use it. So this is what we are expecting from you, okay? So now that is the weekly activities journal that we will be asking you to fulfill. As I said, very simple. We're just asking you basically to give a date when you were working, how many hours did you spend working on that day, give bullet points, what activities did you do and what learnings did you do. So for example, 12th of September, 4 hours, I attended a local council meeting. I learned that any councillor can put motions and people vote on the motion. And that's pretty much what we are expecting from you, just to give a couple of bullet points about what you've done and how did you use your time during this internship. So as I said, just to remind you, if you have any questions about anything that I've said so far, feel free to put them in the Q&A box and I will be answering them at the end of this presentation. So when it comes to the application process, right? So here are a couple of key information. So it's an online application. So you need to go to our website and there is a link to an online application where you can fill in the form. The deadline is the 27th of July, 5 p.m. A key advice, make sure that you take time filling in the application form. The application form is asking you for your contact details, some personal details, because we need to know let's say where you are located, because we need to know where do you live to make sure that we can place you with a local councillor. And then there will be a couple of open questions. So one of the questions is why are you applying for this internship? There will be, the limit word is 200 words. then we want to learn a little bit more about your local connections. So which community groups you are a member of, what is your role in those community groups, what have you done with these community groups, right? So we want to learn a little bit more about your past activities. And then we will also ask you questions about your political affiliation. As I said before, one of the key principles is impartiality, but we will try to pair you with a councillor that is matching your political views. So that's why we would like to know if there is any particular political party that you are aligned with. If there is none, that's also fine, that's okay, that's not a problem. But we will be trying to match people as best as we can with a councillor that is presenting similar political views to yours. So that's why we are asking about that. And then the last part of this application process is we are asking you to record a 3-minute video. And we will be asking you in this video, when you are recording this video, to answer the question, why does representation in politics matter? So don't worry about how professional this video has to be or not. It can be very, very simple. You can basically take a mobile and then record yourself talking to your mobile, and that will be fine. And then upload this video so we can have a look at it. Please be respectful to the time limit. 3-minute video, no longer. Shorter, it's fine, but we would really ask you not to make any longer than 3 minutes, because we will not be having time to review all of them in details, and we really want to do that. Now, again, I want to stress that please make sure that you are filling in the form properly, because the form will be the basis for shortlisting candidates, and we will not be able to give you an opportunity for an interview. So we will be assessing your application based on what information you're going to give us in this application form and in your 3-minute video. And be also mindful that we are doing a lot of different projects for migrants around political participation and leadership. And every time we have at least 3 to 4 people applying for one place. So there will be high level of competition. So that's why if you really want to be considered for this internship, make sure that you take time to fill in your application process. Okay, now next steps, right? So when we will receive all of your applications, we will try to make decision by the 16th of August. So by the 16th of August, we will notify all the people who will be offered placement. If you will not hear from us by the 16th of August, it means that you didn't get in on this time, unfortunately. And I'm afraid we will not be able to get back to every single person with an answer, because we are expecting at least 60 to 80 applications, and that is just beyond our capacity. So again, if you hear from us by the 16th of August, it means that you got in. If you won't hear from us by the 16th of August, unfortunately, on this time you were unsuccessful. And then the orientation sessions before the internship will start will be on the 30th of August for everyone. So also make sure that you will be available on the 30th of August to attend the orientation session. And as I said, during the orientation session, you will receive your internship pack, where you will have all the information about the terms of reference, how to contact us, what are your duties and responsibilities, and any other information that might be useful for you to make sure that you can make the best out of this internship. Okay. So again, reminding you about asking any questions, make a use of the Q&A box. Before we go to the Q&A, just a couple of things to consider. Okay, so before you make decision whether you want to apply for this internship, we would like you to make sure that you consider those key questions. First of all, do you have time, and are you available to complete this internship? Bear in mind that it is 7 hours a week over 12 weeks period, and whether you will be able to match this commitment with your other duties. So whether you will be able to fit it within your work schedule, family duties, college schedule, and so on. And we would like you to be very honest in your assessment. First of all, honest with yourself, and then honest with us. because as I said, there will be probably 3 to 4 people applying for one place. And if you are not able to commit to the time, or you will not be available, then you probably will be taking away a space from somebody who might make better use of this opportunity. And that happened to us quite often. Whenever we're running a workshop or a course or a training, people are signing up, applying for it. They are being offered a spot ahead of other people. And then halfway through, they are, letting us know that they actually are dropping out because, they have exams, or that they can't fit it with work schedule or whatever. And I, again, would like to ask you to be very honest, because again, there are other people who would like to take this space, and they might be more they might have better availability to do this time around. And I do understand that as migrants, we don't often get this opportunity. So whenever there is an opportunity for us, we want to grab it, because we think that that might not happen again. But don't worry, we will be running this project again next year as well. So you might be more able to do it next year. So that's why we're asking you to make sure that when you are assessing your time and availability, you are honest with yourself. Also, please consider your political affiliation. As I said, impartiality is something that is a key principle of this internship. However, think about it, right? If you're going to be put in pair with somebody who has completely different political views than you, would you be able to do this internship, right? Would you be able to park your political views on a side and just participate in those activities? If you will be able, then that's great. We will welcome you, but make sure that you make that decision and you will be honest with yourself as well. And then again, also consider your local connections. One of the activities that we would like you to do is to organize an information event with local councillor and your migrant community. Think if you will be able to do it, right? If you will be able to organize, would you be able to mobilize 30 people to attend the meeting with the councillor? Think about it, right? And then would you be able to also register 60 people in that 12-week period? Maybe it's not time for you to do this internship now. Maybe you will spend this year building local connections, and next year you will be more equipped to be able to do this internship. So we would like you to consider those 4 elements before you make your application. Okay, so I think that's all from me. So thank you very much for giving me your time, and now I'm gonna go into the Q&A box and see what are the questions, and I will try to answer them. Okay, so Sadeep is saying that 12 days in 3 months is a lot of commitment. That means that would mean taking annual leave, and how soon the date will be confirmed. Advance notice and okay, right. Yes, again, as I said, 12 days in 3 months, it means a lot. You don't have to work full day, because the work of a councillor, sometimes it's evening, sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes it's even Sunday. You don't have to do it in one go. So it's not really a 9 to 5 work. You can really form and schedule this work around your commitments, right? So you can, let's say, do 2 hours every evening with your internship, and then you collect those 7 hours in total. So it doesn't mean that it has to be from 9 till 5. It can be flexible, right? So you need to think whether that flexibility is something that you can commit to. Would you be able to do it, right? And as I said, we will be giving you answers by the 16th of August. And again, the work of local councillors are not very static. They change every now and then. So it's not that you will be given schedule from September to December, because this schedule changes all the time. So that you have to also consider that. Because you might, one day it might be Monday, next week it might be Thursday, and then the next week it might be Friday. And that can change very fast. So please do consider the flexibility of this internship, that it might not be for you on this occasion, okay? What happens if you want to take the internship and you are an asylum seeker living in DP and you are transferred to another center? Okay. Now, Sharon, that is an important question. We haven't really considered that. I'm not sure about the way how transfer happen in real life. Is it really a reality? To be honest, I think we can manage because a lot of council meetings, they still happen online. So you will be able to communicate with your councillor online, and you will be able to attend certain meetings online. We will try to make it work, right? So if you are going to be transferred, and I hope that won't happen, we will try to make it work for you, and we'll try to provide you with opportunities to make sure that this is going to be successful for you as well. Hi, I am engineer working full-time. Is there any other participation method without being intern? I'm afraid no. This is non-paid, unpaid internship part-time. So there is no other way we can make it happen. Does the vote, oh, hi, Megan. Did the voters you register have to be an elector? No, it doesn't have to be. So you can register anyone just as long as you register 60 migrants. That's as much as we care. 60 migrants registered during 3 months time, and that's it. For the online meeting with the councillor and migrant, should the participating migrant be from a particular county? Oh yeah, okay, yes, that's what we would be expecting. So when you are organizing a meeting, online meeting with a councillor, it's about organizing meeting with your local community, because the councillor is connected to local community. Being a local councillor is about locality. So when you are organizing a meeting with a councillor, it has to be with people from your local community. Okay, Liliana, would you be able to provide written materials, resources, or political participation in Ireland? Yeah, so as I said, you will get your information pack. A lot of information will be there. And then in addition, you will be given some links to resources that you can read. For example, on our website, we have plenty of resources there where you can learn about political participation in Ireland. And we also direct you to other websites where you can educate yourself. But to be honest, that internship will be that learning process for you. So we're not expecting you to be an expert in political participation in Ireland. That internship will be your learning opportunity to learn about political participation. Okay, so Amir, what happens following the completion of the scheme? So we will send you a congratulation letter. We will offer you joining our network of migrant leaders. So following up this internship, you might be able to keep in touch with us and other people, so you can exchange information and support each other. And it's up to you what you are going to decide to do after the fellowship, after the internship. You might consider joining a political party. You might consider starting your election campaign. Bear in mind that the local elections happen in 2024. And if you are serious about running in local elections, you need to start your campaign now. So it's up to you to decide what you're gonna do with the learnings of this internship. Does it matter the day? Okay, Esther, so the day, as I said, your schedule might be very flexible. Councillor works very flexible time schedule. They constantly change. Sometimes it might be during the day, sometimes it might be in the evening. It can change from week to week. So it will not be, you will not be able to, let's say, book that every week on Monday I'm going to work on this internship. Sometimes a bit of a flexibility might be required from you. And councillors might ask you to attend event or a meeting on a different day. So please consider that if that's something that you will be able to do. As I said, councillor work different times of a day, including evenings, including weekends. What if an area might not have so many migrants? How should we work around that? Okay, I struggle to find it relevant because 1 in 8 of our society are migrants. Okay, so 12% in your local area, wherever you live in Ireland, 12% of your community are migrants. So you will be able to find them. And out of those 12, if you can register 60 people to vote, I think it's doable, right? So you need to look better. Migrants are everywhere. Does the local connection has to be from? Yes. Does the local connection has to be from your own community, or it could be from another migrant communities? Any migrant community. So I'm Polish, but I don't really have that many connections with Polish community. I have many connections with diverse communities. It doesn't have to be your community as long as they're migrants. That's as much as we care. Okay, Teresa, is there any other options aside Immigrant Council for an EU national willing to have this kind of experience? Okay, Bruno, I'm afraid not at this particular moment. So let me tell you a little bit more about that. So the funding that we have for this program comes from the European Union. And the European Union doesn't consider EU migrants as migrants. They consider EU migrants as mobile citizens. That's why EU migrants are excluded from many integration projects and initiatives. And the funding just basically excludes people. However, we are going to look for Irish funding. Irish funding will make it available for EU migrants. And hopefully we will be able to run this program for EU migrants as well next year. Is there a limit on the number of interns per county? No. So, however, the limit will be how many councillors we will find in this county. So, wherever you are, if there will be only one councillor in your local area, and we might have 3 or 4 migrants applying for this opportunity, we will be only able to make one placement. So, that's the limitation. And the last question, if you are living in Dublin and there is no available councillor in your area taking interns, can you still take part with councillor in a different area in Dublin? Okay, in Dublin. That wouldn't be really ideal because, as I said, it's about building connections in your local area. It's about understanding your local area, campaigning with your local area, building connections, networks, social and political networks in your local area. We will give it a consideration because we would rather make an internship happen rather than stop somebody attending an internship. So first preference will be given to people living in the same local area where the councillor lives. If we will still have space and there will be an option that you live, let's say, in Dublin 8 and the councillor available is in Dublin 14, we might consider this to be an option, but we cannot guarantee anything. Okay, right. So I think we arrived at the end of our Q&A. Are there any other questions from anyone? Okay, there is another one. To register an immigrant to vote, do they need to be naturalized? Right, okay. So I would expect you to know that. However, I will make here a little bit of, I will tell you more about voting rights. So anyone living in Ireland can vote and run in local elections. You don't have to have Irish passport to vote and run in local elections. And that includes asylum seekers, that includes international students, that includes people on temporary working visa. So anyone who lives in Ireland and is over 18 can vote in local elections and can register. So that's why, as I said, Ireland has one of the most inclusive electoral systems in the world, because you don't have to be an Irish citizen, you don't have to have Irish passport to run in local elections and to vote in local elections. Okay, any other questions? Right, so, okay. How has been the response or taking, okay, so yes, so far we have indication of interest from around 20 councillors. However, this is an indication. We are running an information session for councillors tomorrow. and they will learn what it takes from them. So some of them might decide to go forward with this internship. Some of them might decide that it's not for them. But I can assure you that we will definitely have at least 15 councillors willing to take an intern. So we will be able to make 15 placements. However, at this point, I am not able to tell you where those councillors are from. Okay, so as I said, I want to repeat again about the application process. Make sure that you put time in filling in your application questions. Unfortunately, we will not be able to provide you with any additional information or feedback or advice about how to apply for this internship, because we have a really high level of interest in this internship and we don't have capacity to attend to every single question. So that's why if you still have some questions, we'll have another 14 minutes before we can close this session. Okay, Dalia. Can you elaborate more on what you mean by well connected with your local community? What does that include exactly? Okay, so it means if you are organizing an online meeting with councillors, would you be able to have 30 migrants attending this meeting? Basically, that's what means local connections, right? So, and usually that can happen if you know people from local community and you are a member of some group, and you can ask those members of this group to attend. That could be a sports group, that could be arts and crafts group, that could be your local church, anywhere you can find migrants. So think about it. If you are going to organize a meeting with your local councillor, would you be able to have 30 people in the meeting? Because we don't really want to waste the time of the councillor. Again, they are very busy people. So if you are organizing a meeting with a councillor, try to have at least 30 people in the group, 20, 30 people, so they feel that it's worth it to come to that event. Okay, so would you be able to organize 20, 30 people? That's what it means. And okay, Joseph, we don't know where those councillors are from yet. We just have indications from a couple of people, but we don't really know the locations of the councillors who indicated interest. Are you meaning to enlist voters from non-EU countries, any migrants, as long as they are migrants? So they might be EU, non-EU, asylum seekers, refugees, international students, anyone who is one or any other way a migrant. So it doesn't matter which country they're from, as long as they are migrants, we want them to be registered to vote. When it comes to the event with the local councillor, we will give you support, we will give you advice how to organize it, how to advertise it, how to encourage people. So if you have any sort of ability to mobilize people, whether let's say, you know, let's say you work in a local area and you know a lot of migrants working with you, that's also a local connection. Okay, Liliana, what about if those migrants attending the meeting with the councillor having English language limitation? Could we avail of an interpreter? That will be up to you. Would you be able to provide an interpreter? Because we will not be able to do that. We don't have resources to do that. And also, we don't really know what languages people might be struggling with. So this is something that you need to consider yourself. If you will be able to provide an interpreter. It could be you. If you are organizing a meeting with your local community, with your migrant group, you can be the interpreter for that event, and that there is no reason. There's no reason not to do that this way. Okay. Any other questions? So keep in mind that there is a list of those different activities that we will be looking you to complete. The list might seem long, but it actually isn't, because remember, you have 12 weeks, 7 hours every week to do those activities. And sometimes it might seem that 7 hours a week is a lot, but imagine like one council meeting is sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours. So if you attend a council meeting, that's pretty much all your hours for that week done, and there is nothing else that you need to do. And then when you will be organizing voters registration, or you will be organizing that meeting with the councillor, you will be sitting at home and just making planning and using social media to invite people to those events. And again, that could be done in the evening or could be done on the weekend. And then you're just clocking in hours, signing up that, Sunday, 20th of September, I was working 4 hours organizing the event with local councillor. And again, you have already 4 hours, which is half of your weekly hours that you need to commit to. And as I said, there will be ongoing support from the Immigrant Council of Ireland. You will be able to contact us at any time. And we also, in addition to those bi-weekly meetings, and we will be able to give you some ideas, information, how to go about different activities in your schedule. Just to mention again about what will happen after the internship. So the Immigrant Council, we are trying to build a network of migrant leaders, and we've been working on that for the last couple of years, and we are delivering different projects and different workshops, trainings to migrants on different issues. And then we'll try to keep people in touch with us, and we're trying to provide additional opportunities for people to meet each other, because you will be working on similar issues. Some of you might decide to run for local elections in 2024. And being a member of this network will allow you to exchange information, provide support to each other, and basically find people who have similar interests, and you can work together. So at the end, it will be up to you if you want to sign up to this network. You will be receiving like a monthly email with some information. There will be some monthly webinars that you might attend, but you don't have to. And the webinars will be a mix of, we might be inviting keynote speakers, and we might be inviting some trainers to give you some training. We might be providing opportunity for you to share your experience. So that will be an opportunity for you provided by the Immigrant Council of Ireland, but it's up to you to decide what you're gonna do with the learnings from this internship. Are you going to apply it to work with your local community? Are you going to run for local elections? Or you just might decide that you're gonna take a break and you might not really do much about this internship, and that's okay as well. Will there be an opportunity to talk to other interns through the September-December period about their experience? That's a very good question, Megan. We might consider that. That might be an opportunity, because the network of migrant leaders is already in place, and we are hoping to start from September to organize regular monthly meetings where people can come together and talk to each other. It will be online. So we might open that opportunity for you as well, where you will be able also to talk to other migrant leaders. But also, when you will be having those bi-weekly meetings with a project coordinator, give any suggestions. How do you think we can make this experience better for you? And if people will think that having opportunity to meet other interns would be useful, we will make it happen. So when we will be getting your feedback from your experience, give any suggestions to that, what you think might work better. Okay, does the participants attending the meeting with the local councillor have to live in the same area as the intern councillor? Yes, that would be ideal, because again, we want to make connection between local migrant community and the local government. So it doesn't make sense if you live in Galway to invite people from Dublin, because we want to make sure that local migrants are engaged in politics where you live, that the local migrants know who is the elected representative and who they can ask for support if they need it. So that's why it's important to have people from your local area. What would happen if I can't find 60 migrants? Oh, listen, I'm not sure. You have to pay a fine or something, or buy me chocolate. Listen, we cannot. That's okay. That's fine. That's really there is no test. There is no exam at the end. We're not going to really do anything to scrutinize anyone. Do as much as you can. And, you never know, you might reach 60, you might only reach 10, and that's also fine, as long as you've done some effort to register people. We're kind of giving you that number 60 just to kind of challenge you a little bit, right? But if you will not be able to do it, that's fine. That's okay. They're not like, obviously we would love if everyone could complete all of the activities, but we also understand that there are life opportunities that are changing, and you might not be able to do all of that what's on the list, and that's okay as well, as long as you put in an effort and and you try to make the best for you, because this is an opportunity for you. It's not for us. This internship is not for us. This internship is for you, to learn what it's like to be local councillor and what it's like to be engaged in politics. So it's up to you what you're gonna make out of it. But chocolates are always most welcome, so just so you know. Okay, so we have the last 5 minutes. Are there any other questions? Is there anything else that I can go over again, explain something that you might not understand, or I wasn't clear enough? Okay. So listen, before I finish, before we finish, just let me finish with this one sentence that I always talk about when I talk about political participation. Thanks, Lola. Thank you for that smiley face. It's always good to get some feedback. So listen, why we're doing this, why this is important, why we want you to seriously consider participating in this internship. This internship has really good potential to make sure that your experience can really lead you to become elected representatives in your local area and even go further. Because democracy is about, as I said, representation and participation. And that's why we need to make sure that our migrant communities make the best out of the political rights that they have, and also that we have full representations of migrant communities in the decision-making table. So we need more migrants making decisions about the lives of other migrants. Because as my friend said, I have a friend in London, she's a refugee woman from Bosnia, Zrinka Bralo, and she said to me one time this sentence that I live by, and I always repeat it to everyone. If you're not at the table, it means you are on the menu. And currently, migrants are not at the table. We are being consumed by other people constantly talking about us, making decisions about us, making decisions for us, and we are not part of that decision-making process. That's why we want to make sure that we are ready for the elections 2024, that more migrants will run and more migrants will be elected. Last time in 2019, we had 56 migrant candidates, but only 9 were elected. And then later on, 2 additional migrants were co-opted to local councils. And we need to make sure that next time we have that number is bigger, because to have a fair representation in politics, we need at least 100 migrants sitting at decision-making tables at local councils. So with that in mind, I invite you all now to consider this opportunity for you. And if you do decide to apply, please make sure that you take time filling in the form. And then we will make decision in August. And if you hear from us by 16th of August, it means that you got in. If you didn't hear from us, unfortunately, not on this occasion, but there will be more opportunities. We will be announcing different opportunities, different trainings, different workshops for migrants very soon. So you might decide that something else is better for you than this opportunity. So there will be more, definitely. So with this in mind, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure, but also very weird talking to myself all the time. And good luck with the application form and have a nice evening. Good evening.